You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Yes, yes, yes. Greetings, 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 and
Turn your
everyone.
mic up.
Turn my mic up. Turn my mic up. How's that? That's a little better. Okay, good, good. I thank you. I thank you for that. Because halfway through, I'm gonna be like, I was real low. You know. So thank you, thank you. So how are you doing, Mama Acid? Another segment of Reasoning Thursday.
I am a science experiment, and I want people to take a good look at me. I think they might not understand what science experiments always look like. So, this is because people need to understand, and we've been talking about this for a while, so we're just going to hit it and quit it. How am I feeling? I got a tissue in my hand. I'm drinking a whole lot of water. I'm taking aspirin, zinc, extra vitamin C. I'm sitting down. I'm eating salads with a whole lot of pomegranates and greens in them and really trying to work on my immune system. Why? I'm having chills. I got a fever. My head hurts. My nose hurts. It hurts to breathe. At certain points, it hurts to talk. My stomach is upset. I thought it was something else, and I started with diarrhea and an upset stomach. What do I have? A positive COVID 19 test. I've had the vaccine, the Pfizer, and I haven't had the booster yet. I'm not due for the booster until March. So I called them when I didn't feel good and I told them, and they said, okay, we'll come over and give you a saliva test. They stick it through your door slot. You take it, you go in your house, you do what you do, you seal it up, you put it back on the inside envelope, you put that envelope in another envelope, and then they take it out of your door slot and put it in a white envelope, which protects it even further so they don't have any contact with it. And then they scan it and they match it up with your profile because they print it out before they leave the health department. And then they go, and it's 2 hours. They call you back, or they can send you a text in your phone, and they tell you if you're positive or not. I was positive. How did I get positive?
How did you how did you become positive? I mean,
Oh,
your
I want to be totally honest. I want to be very transparent.
yeah.
There's certain places I normally don't go because I kind of feel nervous, and I went to one of those places, and the people out there don't like to wear masks. They're like Trump people. I went out there because they have better stuff, and some of the stuff that I was looking for, I couldn't find it in my neighborhood, which is supposed to be a so-called upper class neighborhood in Detroit. So I had to leave Detroit and go into Oakland County. I went to West Bloomfield and I got COVID. Guess what I was looking for that I couldn't find in my neighborhood, but I could find it in West Bloomfield?
What?
COVID 19.
Oh my gosh, Acid, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. But
I'm not.
you
I'm
are,
the science experiment. We volunteered to do this many months ago, even though I'm sitting here with chills right now and I would like to have a hot cup of tea. I know it won't help me. What I have to do is go through this because I know people who have had COVID. They talked about how they felt. Are
yeah,
those the symptoms that they know of, that they mentioned?
yeah, like I said, I had it once, thank you, God, knock on wood.
This my third time.
And you are fully vaccinated.
And I'm considered a long hauler, so this is a breakthrough case that is noted by the Michigan Department of Health, Wayne County Department of Health, City of Detroit Department of Health, and guess who else? The CDC. So we wanted to know what they was going to do with them numbers on them COVID vaccine cards. Take a look at me. We'll see what happens when they give me the next step of information because they're going to check in with me within the next 5 days. On Monday, they call you to, see if you want to get another test. Hey, how you
Don,
doing down by that?
Don, did you hear this? Did you hear?
Yeah, did Don Minot hear that? What's your opinion, Don Minot? We
Uh,
really want to know.
but how are you feeling though? How are you seriously? How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Well, I feel a little weak. My stomach feels a little nauseous. I got my eyes are kind of running water at some points. I got a little headache. Um, I got fever and chills, but I'm taking an aspirin and it's really running through me, which is why I don't like to take it. And I'm drinking a lot of water and juice and eating salads and fruit and, popsicles and chilling and working on my new devices because I've been working on a studio for a while, my design studio. And this is the best distraction because if you have to be home, it should be a really good thing so you don't feel that you're being sort of like sequestered or shunned. I don't feel shunned. Everybody keep calling me. Amazon ain't stopped delivering packages. UPS was even over here today.
Well, for those who don't know what we're saying, Mama Acid just revealed that she has COVID, and this is her third time having COVID and being fully vaccinated.
This the first time since I was fully vaccinated that I've had COVID. The other two times I was not vaccinated, and that is why we had the first discussion about how you feel, the differences in how you feel. Because I can honestly tell you that when I had it the first time, it didn't feel like this.
So how what's the difference? How's this so far? How the feeling? How is there a difference of
Yeah, it is a difference. Quite frankly, there is a difference. And this is weird because I'm thinking about it now. One of the things from before was I just wanted to sleep. I just wanted to get into bed and sleep. Well, the first day I did sleep a lot. I think I slept about 12 hours. I got up, I went back to bed. I didn't feel good. I was feeling like really like I couldn't function. My balance was off. I was cold constantly, had on like multiple layers of clothes, taking stuff off, putting stuff on. Just couldn't get my taste and smell right, which still is the same issue. And quite frankly, I've been told it won't ever change. It will be like this. So, to be real with y'all, my cooking career is over.
Mm.
I
So
don't care. Don't matter.
but so there's not much of a difference. You seem you
Yeah, there is. I don't feel like I can't like I gotta just lay in the bed and I'm discombobulated. I feel like I got symptoms of something going on. Yeah, it feels like mild flu. It really does feel like a mild flu, but when you don't get the flu, you really don't remember the symptoms because I ain't had the flu in probably about 40 years. I think I had it long time ago. But one of the other things is that I want to remark about this in the immune system question because earlier today, when I called my doctor's office after they had talked to the nurse with the uh, test results, My doctor's office thought that I was going to come to them and let them retest me.
So why didn't you didn't want to go to your doctor's office to be retested?
Why would I go to them if I didn't go to them in the first place? Because let's look at this. Why would I go to the doctor's office where it's people working and I got COVID 19 and I will be taking it to the doctor's office? Whereas the health department, who is smart, came to me, stuck something in the slot of the door at my house, told me, we're going to go sit in the car. You just get that out your door. When you finish, just hit us on the phone. We'll come back up there. We'll see your door open. You know what to do. They walked me through it. She told me what to do. I did exactly what she told me to do. I closed it up and then I put it back in the envelope, and then you put that in the box, and then you put it in the outside envelope, and you open the door and you stick it in the mail slot. Then they come out of their car when you close your door, and they come and get it. But they got another glove and another bag that they putting it in, and the glove even goes in the bag that they use to pick it up out your door.
What are you doing? What are you taking now? What are you doing to make yourself feel better? I mean, are
To
you
make myself feel better,
remedies are you using?
well, I got this concoction.
Okay.
It's called spring water.
Okay.
I'll be making a lot of spring water ice to go in it.
Okay.
Then sometime I get on that Tazo, uh, that real tea. The ginger tea with the real ginger that I grew in my garden this year. Like, real ginger from the ground. Like, how you love your ginger. So I grew me some ginger this year and it was real hot. I didn't know it was gonna be that hot. The ginger you get in the store wasn't hot like that.
You
So
go.
I boiled the ginger in some water, and then I put a little bit of orange juice in there instead of lemon juice because I had an orange and I got excited.
Okay. Okay.
It tastes so good. Mm.
Okay. Well,
So that's high in vitamin C. It also helps your system to purge. And then because I needed to stop coughing and accumulating mucus, that was why I took that. And I didn't have to take any sugar with it. But to get the mucus to come up, I had to do something else because I started to feel this mucus accumulation. And that's the most dangerous thing is when that mucus, real, the mucus from your nose should really go out of your mouth. Mucus from your nose, from your sinus passages, is meant to either be blown out your nose or be spit out of your mouth. It's not meant to travel down your nasal passageways because it has an infection in it. And once it goes into it goes down, you think it's going one way, it's not going in your stomach. Some of it may be going in your stomach, but it's actually accumulating in your lungs. And it's not like the normal mucus in your esophagus. So it's different. It infects your lungs. You start feeling like shortness of breath. It's hard to you wheezing and you don't feel good. So I have a general remedy for that a lot of people won't mess with, and it is called wax. Yeah. hmm I don't smoke a leaf. I smoke wax. So I just get my little bong and I just fire it up. I get me two kits and then I go in the bathroom and it's over. So all I can say is the coughing and stuff. Nah, I don't need that. But as you can see, I'm red. You can see I'm
okay.
having chills right now, but I'm okay because I really wanted to do this show so people could see how it's affecting me, and when we're talking, how I'm gonna lose focus. But the important part of this is that I had COVID before, and it wasn't like this. When I had it before, I thought I was gonna have to like have somebody come over here and sit and watch me.
Okay. So you are less sick now than you were then?
I'm sick, but I'm not sick like that. I called somebody and asked them if they would come over if I wanted somebody to come and sit with me, And they said, yeah. And so they said, what time? And
Okay.
I said, it might be late. And they said, like, late, late? And I said, yeah, like chill a bottle of wine
We
late.
don't need all that details. So, so you
There's a male nurse.
time you went through
He
it.
my night nurse.
Listen, the first time you went through this, it wasn't. It was bad.
It
Just
was quite bad.
the second time you went through it, it was bad.
It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as the first time. It was like the fever, the chills, the headaches, the stomach upset, the coughing, the mucus. Oh boy. I could barely feel any relief in my lungs. After about 20 minutes, I started to feel so congested. I remember turning on the shower in the bathroom and just sitting in the bathroom with the door closed with the curtain around me to get the steam, and then I set up my face steamer. When I
Okay.
thought about it,
So the third time, because you want to get into details, tell us about your steamer and everything. The third time.
oh,
Now,
but I used the herbs in the steamer. That's what I wanted to say, was that we had talked about these herbs that people were saying you got to steam with this herb and that herb. I put the eucalyptus in there, and guess what else I put in there?
what?
The Vicks Vapor Rub
Okay. So with
in the
this,
water.
now that you've gotten your COVID shot, and now that you've gotten it a third time, you're the first person I know that has it three times. Okay. So now it's the third time. I'm hoping I'm loud enough. Because I know Donna said I was low. But now that you've gotten it a third time, well, this is the first time you've had it since you've had the COVID shot. So
And
you
I had my mask on when I was in the store.
and you had so I've already come to the theory that it's airborne, and if and it might just miss you, or it might just catch you, and or your immune system is um is up enough to fight you getting
I
it.
wasn't on probiotics for 7 days because mines were late coming in the mail, and I've been off my multivitamin for a couple days. So this, I believe, is a result of me not having either one of those. So I'm feeling like, yeah, my vitamin regimen might have helped keep me safe up to this point. But vitamin D3, I increased it immediately.
Okay, yeah, your vitamin D3 and your zinc, those need
Yeah,
to
I got that zinc. That was the first thing I got in because after I felt that fever, I said the only thing I can use is zinc, and I need to start drinking. Drinking it. I need to take the tea and have the tea, and then pop the tablets. Then go ahead and continue to drink the juice. Drink the clear liquid diet as much as possible for the first 24 hours. Because as soon as I felt sick, I called and I asked them if they would come by. And when you call first thing in the morning and you've already been one of their patients, they immediately get to you. And I'm only 4 blocks from them, so they just drove straight on down. And it was
okay.
interesting.
That's a good thing that they have that in Michigan. I don't know if
Well,
they
it's a program that's paid for by a private foundation, Wellness for Seniors.
okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if they're doing it for everybody,
I'm a
but
tea
if
person, and I just continue to drink my tea. Like right now, I'm drinking some
hey, thank you so much because I'm over here with this water.
lemongrass, and when anytime I go out to the doctor, I come back in and take my emergency C's, and I'm an avid vitamin person, so I definitely use my zinc, my selenium, my vitamin A, and my vitamin C, and my vitamin.
Lady D, not
Huh?
to cut you. Why do you think they told me to go to the doctor's office? Do you really think the people at my doctor's office were trying me? Or
They
do you think they just thought I was that crazy? Because the people from the health department then already told him, look, we just got a saliva test from her and she's positive on the saliva test. Do you think they just wanted me to come so they could stick a swab up my nose? Because when they did it before, I wanted to hit the girl.
That part of it is I would say it's a money thing. You get paid
Do
every
they? I thought it was free. I thought they always had to be free.
but a doctor's visit. The test may
Oh,
be free, but you do have a doctor's visit, which it comes with a charge to be seen. So I mean, it's all about money.
oh, can we talk about that then? Since that's where we at. We've been talking about this new whole industry around COVID and how it's playing out. So can we take just another minute with that?
What's the minute in that? Because just a minute.
What about like how Texas just told the whole board of education, we don't care what y'all say, y'all are no longer going to infringe upon the rights of students who require protection by wearing masks because those students have to have protection too. And under the ADA, they're actually right, which is why Texas said, hey, y'all need to stay home. If y'all don't want to wear your mask, stay home.
Well,
In Florida, they told everybody you ain't got to wear a mask nowhere, and if somebody tell you that you do, we'll join the lawsuit. I would like to go down there and see Ron DeSantis with a box of X-Lax brownies.
okay, okay, okay. They doing some things right because they're fighting and I guess they have to take that stand too as far as fighting the mandate where a lot of persons can lose jobs and lose their livelihoods.
That's where I wanted to pick up was about that. So what is really happening in that area in Atlanta? Because the Michigan Attorney General, they joined in that lawsuit.
Well, I think um Kemp also joined in the lawsuit, and which I think that I applaud him for that because
What's your thoughts on the lawsuit? What can you explain it a little bit for those who don't know?
I
Because I think it's about money.
I really don't know the full 100 jest of what the lawsuit encompassed, as long as just the part of it where there's no mandate for people to have to go and get the V in order to keep their job. And you shouldn't have to make that choice as to your livelihood and your belief, because if you have a belief that you don't want to do something and it's not
Don't do it.
for you, then you should not be forced or coerced into doing it. So that's just my stance on it. So as far as
What she said.
whatever else is in the bill, I haven't paid attention to that. I just want where
That's basically it. Like, stop trying to make
I
people
just
do
want where
something.
people still have a choice, because you know what? This thing is bigger than what the eyes can see. This is just the surface of it. Suppose one day you decide that you no longer want to keep taking this thing every 3 months, 6 months, year, however often you have to take it. Then you people need to really consider with these mandates that are going on. It leaves you where if you ever come up with the choice, your choice of no longer taking this, and it is mandated that you have, you fall in the category that a lot of people are in right this minute.
Absolutely.
You will lose your job, your livelihood. Whether this thing is working for you or not working for you, you are mandated to use it. Mandate to me also starts to it starts to open doors for choice, where people's choices soon it will not matter. And it also opened the gate for, I am for life, but I am for choice. And that's a person's choice. So therefore, it starts to open the door of Roe versus Wade being overturned. It starts opening the door if I want to wear a short haircut and my employees say no, I must wear a wig, and it's mandated on their job that that's what mandate can start opening a whole uh, ant's nest. So I like choice. I prefer choice. of what I choose to do with my body from it's not harming anyone and it's not harming me. And there is no scientific proof that my choice of not doing something is harming me at this particular time. And as I said, and I'll continue saying, I think that there are other ways to combat things. And the amount of energy that is put in the campaigns of telling you, giving you bonuses and all of these things that they're still doing, you need to take it and look at other alternatives, other ways that we can fight this thing, because that is not the only way. Mama Acid, you are fully vaccinated. You're here with COVID. I pray to God that I don't get it
Me
again. The
too.
first time I had it, I feel that, and this is just my thoughts and my feelings. That's why I make the decision that I've made for myself. And I'm not asking, I'm not telling anyone to do me. I'm doing me. So you do you.
Hmm. I got it on Tuesday.
I walked. I've been taking all my vitamins. I've been doing all that I needed to do, um, health wise, as you know, keeping my immune up. Even before I knew about, before this thing came about.
Hmm.
Yourself, Donna Moody, she says, I agree with you, Lady D. I been always trying to keep my system as up as possible. So when I got the COVID back in March, I didn't even know. And they were like, no symptoms, no nothing. I had like 1 day of chill. Thank you, Lord. Thank you to vitamins. And for me, that's how that and I'm okay. So I just feel that my system was up enough to stand at arms and to fight whatever came my way, along with me increasing my dosages of what I was doing, my remedies that I was doing,
Hmm.
and everything like that. And I thank the Lord that right now that I'm haven't gotten it again. And I'm sorry that you've gotten it for your third time.
Look, this is the experiment. We knew that you didn't have any idea that we were doing the experiment, and when I popped it on you, when you found out today that I got this on Tuesday, because I didn't tell you yesterday. I didn't think it was worth trying to upset you, telling you I didn't feel. I already told you I didn't feel good, but we used to that. But that was something else, and I wasn't gonna be like, look, blam blam. What? I mean, I'm okay. I went and worked in my yard to get that sweat up. I know
You gotta
many
you
people
gotta
are not like me.
you have to keep moving as well.
That's the point. If you lay down, it will keep you down.
Mhm.
I
Well,
am not one who would miss this show because I want people to see what it looks like. This is the face of COVID with, the shots, the whole everything. Okay, look at me. We can
well,
we can see.
I'm hoping it's not passed through the screen.
No, no, no. It's airborne,
I'm
and
just
there's no air. Look,
I'm just ready to
there's
joke.
no air between us. Notice the air's not going that way. It's going the other way.
Bothering you, just bothering you. Man, greetings to each and every one once again. Thank you all for joining us for Reasoning Thursday. And we have some things. I mean, Mama Acid threw this at me this evening, rather, before we came on the air. Well, a couple of hours, about 2 hours before we came on the air, Mama Acid threw this at me that she has the COVID, but We just wish you all the best. And, you
Thank
know,
you.
you're a trooper to come on the program and not feeling too hot. Um, and that tells you loyalty and commitment. It's
Listen, one other thing for those who may have passed over it, I want to remind everybody that last year, this time, something very life changing happened to us.
yeah.
We lost DJ Ringo, and I just keep thinking maybe this is my heart broken. That I just keep thinking maybe this is just me still being heartbroken over Ringo.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm telling you, it was a rough couple of days. And then Tuesday just came and I was like, oh my OMG, like this day is really, really here. We're missing DJ Ringo so much. We lit some candles and we set off some balloons Tuesday for him. And it's really surreal. I want to maybe next week we can talk about pain. We can talk about pain and healing and losing someone and grief,
Grief.
because, and which it also brings it into back with mental health. You know,
You
Zephyr
know,
did.
we were talking to Don Minot about that, saying what we really want to do is we want to do this. We want to do a 4 part series. I'm producing it, and we've asked Don Minot, and we're going to have another artist as well talk to us about healing through music.
Yeah, yeah.
Lady D, how did music help you heal during your grief?
You know what? In the beginning, and we not even too much touching grief, but in the beginning of my grief, because the persons whom I was grieving, or I still am grieving, they were surrounded with me through music. So for me, the first couple of days, it was, I couldn't even listen to the music, because every time I heard certain songs, it reminded me of that person. You know, just the rhythm, certain rhythm, even like DJ Ringo's. DJ Ringo's set, because DJ Ringo is totally into drum and bass and just rhythm, you know? So when there were certain songs that came on, I immediately start crying. Being in the studio, it took me about a month and change to come into the studio after DJ Ringo, because it was ev- out of the blue, you'll see the studio door open and his DJ Ringo walks in here and he's sitting there and his spot is right over there. He that's the only place he's gonna sit. When he comes and he just sit there. And I said, "What's up?" He just comes just to be with me in the studio while I'm doing my show. So sometimes in the beginning to sit in here, I used to be like, oh gosh, with that door just open and him coming in. So after a while, for me, music began to make me feel more closer to them, and it made me laugh because it brought back, things that how they would talk or dance or laugh. And it started to become a healing in a lot of ways. So yeah, music played two different parts for me. Yeah, it played two different things for me. But we're not talking about pain and all of that. You had me going there. Um,
No, but you taking us someplace that we need to go, and that's that right now we're dealing with society needing to heal.
Yes, yes.
Alafia Fantoma, I think we have some really serious issues about this whole healing because one of the things that we got to do is push forward even when we don't necessarily want to. Because if we don't push forward, then when, 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 when else?
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Hmm. We have to push forward, and next week maybe we could touch that as to grief, pain, moving on, and mental health. Um, in this week alone, there was a couple of persons that I know someone that committed suicide. So a dear sister, I call her my sister, in-law, one of her in-law her grandchildren's people committed suicide, a young 30-year-old, leaving behind his three children. And then I hear that there's a lady in Maryland that committed suicide. Then there's one that I heard Let's Gripe speak about last night that committed suicide in New Jersey. So the mental health of our people, which also encompasses the pain, because you have to be feeling pain, you have to be feeling a way to want to take your life. So that is why I would say we would group it in one as far as mental health, pain, grief, moving on, everyday lives. So that's something I think we can touch next week.
But I really think we can continue because there's two things that we really are touching this week about the whole pain thing, and one of them is about what's happening with all these people in these churches who are looking for someone to take that away. They
Yeah,
just seem to be going
and
to try to find someone to lift it off of them as though there's a person, a human flesh and blood person
yeah.
who is born just like they were, who can actually I
And we could invite Queen Zephyr because she's also doing a series on abuse, which we did an abuse series. But she's been having a lot of survivors of the abuse, and all of that encompasses together with pain and grief and fear and all of those things. So we'll definitely touch that. Man, we have a lot to talk about. It's 8:42 on the Powerhouse clock for a reason. Thursdays we're definitely going to be touching this human and this mankind situation that Sister Moody brought up. And we're gonna kind of skim a little bit of what do you think about what took place with the Ahmad, that's going on with the Ahmad Arbery trial, Mama Acid.
I
We're gonna
like to hit
touch
that
that,
first.
and yeah, we
That in Kyle Rittenhouse.
yeah, we want to touch that real quick. And in our series we still have this rape culture and this predatory culture, um which I was reading where, and I meant to bring it up a little bit last week but I didn't get a chance to. The 63-year-old man who has now married his goddaughter as she hit 18. Just the predatorship of it, if there's such a word. The rape culture of it. Imagine you as this child godfather, you have been preying this child. It's like she was a prey. From this child is born till she was what they had a 4-year relationship. It's alleged that they had a 4-year relationship before this marriage. So you've been preying. You've been She's been a prey all these years. You've been watching her. You possibly might have even changed her diapers. I'm wondering if there was some type of, you know, molestation or something went on all of this years, all of this time that you can find your goddaughter to arouse you, to that you would want to have a relationship with her. I mean, this is it's sick.
Disgusting in a word.
It's sick. These are the things that we're talking about with the rape culture, the predatorship that is going on, with these men, women, because you have some women too that are preying on young young people, and trying to define themselves as being cougars because they're praying. I understand that you're gonna date some young people. Nothing ain't wrong. You know what I mean? But something like that. Imagine this: your mother's friend been looking at you.
Okay, so let me ask a question since we go in there. Let me throw something in the ring for you.
Okay.
So, if you know a little bit about me, you know that I don't, um, I try not to go outside of a certain circle, and I try to deal with people that I know because I'm not very trusting. I've been through some incidents. And so, one of the things people know about me is that I know a lot of people, men, and I might meet them, I might like them today, but tomorrow I may not really want to deal with them. Okay, so there's this culture where people say that people shouldn't use people, and that people should have permanence in people's lives. Let me ask a question as a woman, which I'm totally throwing up the rug, and people know women are usually on the other end of this.
Yeah.
Is it wrong if a 60 plus year old woman has a 40 plus year old admirer who absolutely is not just enamored, but lets her know that she changed him in a way that the women in his age group don't really compare, because he's come to learn that a person who has, as he likes to say, ascended intelligence. They have something to share. They can sit and talk all night about things and learn from each other, and then they can still enjoy other things too. But the point is that you don't impose limitations and say, this has to work like this or this or this. Or if you come in over here, you got to take out your trash, or you got to do this or this. Is it
I don't.
wrong if you see
I
them at Walmart and you all smile at each other? Is it wrong if you don't say, "Oh, that's my friend"? Instead, you smile and they smile and you going about your way, and they, whatever happens with them, they could be with other people, they could be with their family, they could be with people
That's
that you
why.
know, and they might say, "Hey, don't you know her?" And that
That's why.
person is supposed to say, "Oh."
That's why it's such a slippery slope. That's consensual to me. Yeah.
But is it wrong if there's a 20-year age gap? Does that make it
I don't.
more wrong?
I don't
Since
think
you
that.
said cougars, I wanna drag mine out the closet. Let's go ahead and get it. Since we approaching the 9 o'clock hour.
Okay. To me, to each his own. Whatever floats your boat, it
Can
floats
I
your
can
boat.
I can I
I'm not
rephrase that for you? To
predatory.
each is reach, and to cop is have.
I'm just predatory. To me, predatory is something such as this. This old 63-year-old man watch this little baby grow up.
She was a baby, and then he married her
Wow.
after messing with her.
And you were scoping her.
But what about the mama and the daddy of the girl? That's where I really want to go to. Because
And
yet, only the mama we've heard from. What about the father?
you have young guys whom are pursuing older women.
Yeah, they do.
You have
I ain't gonna lie.
young guys that are pursuing older women. So I would not look at that as to say that is um predatory or anything such as, because these are grown adults. It's a totally different thing. So I wouldn't classify that. Pick up yourself, Lana. Lana said that.
Hey, Lana! Big up!
Lana said, and it's different because you have the younger guys whom like older women, and that's different. But something when you're looking at a 60-year old man, I can't see myself dating my kids' friends.
Isn't that pedophilia, and isn't it wrong on other levels, like illegal?
Now, if I'm at a club and maybe there's this young man coming, there's no age disclosed, and we come on a level and we're speaking, and I'm gravitating to this young man, and then all of a sudden he comes up and tell me what his age is, and I'm like, whoa, you know. Yes, definitely, Donna.
What's up?
Sick. He is sick. Blessing, Dread J. Blessings to you. Yes, and for something like that, that's nasty. That's
Okay, so
predatory.
when the mother was talking about it, the girl's mother,
That is, and Lorna says, and that is why we don't do it. Exactly. Exactly.
well, the girl's mother said she has told him to leave her daughter alone. She told her daughter not to get involved in it, and she told her daughter it was wrong.
You know,
So her daughter was what, 16 when she started having a relationship, or 15 when she started having a relationship with
at
the
that
man?
time, the mother should have pressed charges, lock him up, get some restraining order at that time. When this man was messing with your daughter 4 years, so what? From
But
14
did the mother know he was messing with her really at that point, or did she just see him continuously watching her?
sometimes we turn a blind eye to things. Things are staring us right in our faces, and we're turning a blind eye. Maybe she didn't want to know, you know, and yeah, maybe she didn't know, but 4 years and you didn't see anything with this man acting a certain way with your child, anything like that. That doesn't sound right to me.
Here's a question too.
Lorna
I
says
looked at her video,
forget about it.
and the both of them had went and took these VD tests because they were saying that somebody had AIDS or somebody had given somebody some other VD test. And so I watched the video where she had came out of the health department or wherever she went, or doctor's office, with her test results saying, y'all are talking about this, this, and this. And she gets in the car and she's read the results and she says, yeah, he's 64 or whatever, and I married him, and y'all just mad because I wanted somebody who wants something in his life and who already has something and is working on getting me what I want, because I just can't imagine that I would have to be with somebody who doesn't even know what they want yet, who's going to cheat on me and treat me bad. And,
Sybil says, I was just watching a video earlier with Queen Gangster.
yeah, I
That's
watched that
talking
too.
about happy with the younger man, and she do not care if she have to spend her money on him. This is what you want. Okay. And
Not me, baby.
that's once again what I definitely said. You have younger men who pursue older women. You know what I mean? So it's and you
Let's
do
talk about one from history.
and you
This is
still
one I want to talk. I want to throw this one.
before you go there, and you do have young girls whom try to date older men. But what I'm saying with oh boy, with even the
With
predatory,
that guy and her.
it's different. That's something different. This is where all of this family incest and all of these things happen, and most of the time when they said persons are molested or things like that is from family members or
Yeah, somebody close to the family that was brought directly into the house and
so
introduced to the child, and the
those
child was told it was okay to interact with them.
right, those are what I'm talking about, things such as that, as being, this predatory. And the rape culture is just the thought that you can hold down somebody, period, and take what you want from them. may it be a woman doing it to a man, because yeah, we always highlight women being abused, women being raped, women being molested, but there are a lot of guys that are going through the same exact thing. So
Yeah,
whenever you hear me speak, I most definitely have to touch the men as well. As Queen Gangsters, Sybil was talking about, yeah, she's a very bold woman. I like her. She just straightforward and just speak her mind and
that
just
video is something else.
gangster queen. She's something. Miss Queenie, she said, she go. Wait, let me use this hand. She go. Yeah. But yeah, let's take a quick station break. Let's take a quick sponsor break. And then we come back, and what we're gonna touch. We want to touch this human and mankind. Miss Moody tried to draw us out there. Miss Moody tried to draw us out. Brother.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law, general legal services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to your workplace and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson firm customized legal attention based on the needs of each client while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Where you call me so
how you
bad?
look, so?
What you mean how me look? How you want me to look? Eh? How you want me to look?
You look tired and sick.
What you mean me sick? Me's a healthy man.
Mine, sitting look like it wrong with
What
you.
you mean sitting wrong with me? Eh?
Mine are the hog flu you have,
So you call me hag now? Boy, you dark, eh? Oh, you so but we can't talk to you.
Dark, dark. Look for me, me lighter than
Me
you.
never mean dark like that. I mean dark in senses.
This is a public service announcement from Powerhouse WLMJ Radio. Be sure to go and get your swine flu shots, not the hog shot.
Oh yeah, don't get those hog shots. They say get the
Well,
swine flu shot, Mama Acid, not
it's SARS.
yeah, those shots. Yes, man. Well, we are back, and we want to invite you to check out the fantabulous programmings right here on the Powerhouse Radio. As you know, we kick off on a Thursday. Let's say we kick off on a Thursday, okay? And since we're speaking on a Thursday, we have the Kids Way. The Kids Way is on 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Powerhouse Radio from a kid's perspective. And I want to say great job today, because you all let me put on my Stars and Stripes shirt. My Stars and Stripes shirt. And I want to say happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans out there, that served our country. We thank you so much for your service. And want to say big ups to Mr. Cornish, Dr. Cornish, who was a veteran, and he came on the Kids Way and enlightened them with a lot about um, serving. And his father was in the World War. I mean, his grandfather was in the World War, and it was a very, very wonderful program, and with tribute to the veterans. So we want to say big up and kudos to all of those
Definitely, because those kids work hard to produce
kids
their
and
program.
11-year-old children. So if you have a child, it's a great, great program for them to watch. They giggle, they have fun, and they're informative. So check them out on Thursdays, 6 to 7. Then we have us, Reasoning Thursdays, each and every Thursdays, from myself and Mama Acid from 8 to 9 p.m. We've been going over up until 10, because, sometimes when topics warrant the time, we give the time. And on Saturdays, we want to say big ups to the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion in the mornings from 8 to 10. And then yours truly, Lady D, check me out on a Saturday from 12 to 4. I have all of your news, your views, entertainment news, your interviews, new music, joke of the day. What you know about it? Did you know? Yeah, you got to check me out on a Saturday, 12 to 4 p.m right here on the Powerhouse Radio. Sundays, we have our Gospels mornings. Check us out from 9 a.m., kicking it off with the Gospel Vibes crew, Delroy Lingo and the crew over there from 9 a.m. to 11. And then we join the Hope Redemption Worship Center from 11 to 1 for service and worship. And at 6 p.m., you have Queen Zephyra with I Am Meta, spiritual um, uh, spiritual health and healing. Make sure that you check her out Sunday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. And if you want to be in love, or if you're in love, or you're kind of in love somewhere, or you want to know about love, check out All About Love, Nothing But Love on a Sunday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Blossom, Cool G, and moi, Lady D. And to get your request or your tribute, send it over to dapowerhouseradio at gmail.com and let us know it's for All About Love. If you have a request or you want us to say a special poem to your sweetheart or your admirer, just give us a link up, dapowerhouseradio at gmail.com. And on Tuesdays, you have your Too Strong Praise Moment from 8 to 9. And do be sure to check out Let's Gripe. Yes, Let's Gripe on a Wednesday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Tonya, Marcus, and McKenna. It is hot. Do you have a gripe? Gripe it out with them. Check them out on a Wednesday. All taking place right here on the Powerhouse Radio as we continue to add fantabulous, informative family programmings right here each and every week. Well, we want to say big ups to all of our sponsors and for all of our radio outlets that are streaming us. We want to say big ups to you. And we also, if you want to sponsor a program, be sure to let us know. We taking sponsorship of programming, and link us at dapowerhouseradio at gmail.com. Also, um, uh, do be sure to subscribe, like, share, press the notification button for our YouTube. If you know somebody, just tell them, say, hey, just go and subscribe over there. They crazy people, but they good people. So just go on and subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the notification button so you know when we are live. All right. And most of our programmings are live except for the musical ones, like myself, the Lady D Show, and All About Love. You have to log on to our website at www.dapowerhouseradio.com. Pick us up in the TuneIn apps, or you can use your telephones at 667-930-9036 to listen to us live that way as well. We're working on our own app, but check us out through TuneIn as well. All righty. Well, Mama Acid, we want to big up Honey Child's Kitchen, and we want to
Honey
say
Child's Kitchen was brought out.
you sold it out. It's
Yeah, it
okay.
got bought out by a company called Drunken Bee Studios.
All right. Congratulations. Congratulations. But Mama
Thank
asked you
you.
ready to go on a graphic kick. So big ups to you. Getting ready to do graphics, printing, and all these things. So yeah, big things coming up and gonna be posted on the site here as well. We're gonna get our blog back up and kicking because we have just totally abolished the blog for the last couple of years. We're gonna get back on it. But okay, let's get down back to the boogie. Let's get back to the boogie. Human HU. We starting there, or there was somewhere else you wanted to start
No,
because
we
I
can start there.
starting there. Okay. Now there was the discussion came about Miss Moody kept coming on and wanting us and telling us about the subhumans and the so on and the mankind. Okay.
Thanks, Lorna.
Mama, Lorna King says congratulations. That is bought out, is great, and all of these things. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big ups to you. I'm so happy for you. Why you always just wait until the last minute to share these wonderful news when I bring you out? But okay, let's
You
go.
know why? It's
Let's go.
always too much going on.
Always too much going on. Yeah, I'm guilty. I do the same thing. I'm definitely guilty. But okay, before that, real quick, real quick, before that, the festival. I want to be slap these parents that send their 9-year-old children out to this Astroworld concert and with the madness that took place there. And I want to be slap them. Okay. I can't, I don't even want to say the full word, but I want to be slap them. What is a nine year
No, they
old,
need a real bee sting.
those type of lyrics that are those the language that is used at these concerts? Why are you even sending your 9-year-old child into the line of
No,
fire?
taking. He took his 9-year-old son and set him on his shoulders.
Not an experience that I feel that a 9-year-old child needs to experience at this time.
Okay, so there you go. When we're talking about man versus human,
Go ahead into it.
when you find devils circulating all around you, you see death, destruction, mayhem, nonsense. It does not do anything to serve you. And you want to go up into this? Well, there was a history of how this all started evolving. And the other day, I was looking at two women having a conversation about the car Trashian curse. Yeah. So you have man and you have human. Human beings, that's man. Human are people who evolve. Okay? Aliens, you could say, because they came from a higher ascended train of thought, action, and they know better. So, just like you were saying about this man, and he's 64 and he married his goddaughter. That's a kind of man. Okay, that is a being. That's not a hue man. He may have melanin, but that doesn't mean that it affected his brain. And there are many of these out there walking around all amongst us. I think they are. I think there are a lot of aliens. Some of them are predators. Some of them become people that are in Congress. Some of them become presidents. We don't know because we don't engage with them physically close enough until we become one on one with them. And when we do, what happens? Now, I just want to lean to my past for a second on this and say that I used to work for George Clinton when they had Parliament Funkadelic. I worked for them for a year, hoping I would eventually get paid all that they owed me, but they always found some other way to be able to shift the money around. And they told us one of the things that we should watch out for when we go to the concerts are how the aliens blend in with the human. And so I said, "What are you saying?" And he said, "Have you ever been to one of my concerts and didn't see a contingent of snow bunnies?" At first, I wasn't really sure. And I thought to myself, could he really be saying this? Could he really be serious? Then I watched. I was backstage in Cleveland and I watched a whole section of the arena where the tickets, you buy a ticket to a specific seat. It was like they had bought a whole section and they targeted the band. Guess what song they broke up on the stage? Atomic Dog. Now, I'm sorry I had to sit up, but y'all just don't understand what it does to me when I hear this song because most people don't really listen to what the lyrics are in the song. And Atomic Dog is about impregnating another species.
Okay.
This is not myth.
My
We're talking about stuff that's happening right now. See,
okay.
Donna didn't think I was going to go there. But after last week, I felt compelled. And, to be quite honest with you, Lady D influenced a little bit of this by saying to me, you cannot skip over this. You must respond to it. And you should respond based upon what you know. Be honest and talk about it. So I usually don't talk about my experiences with aliens, but I can tell you that I have been approached by them, and sometimes I'm not sure because there are some Russian ones and some Israeli ones. They always seem to be attracted to me. So I first start trying to figure out what was the attraction. And it was that they thought I was their kind, that they could utilize me as a genetic depot. Now, I know a lot of women don't think of themselves that way, but I need to remind you, black women, the universe comes from between your legs. Queen Newt, which now looks like a U like this, Queen Newt holds up the universe up here, and it comes out of her down here. So if she is the universe and we are all born from her, y'all done heard me talk the story about how the chicken got dropped into black space and scratched up the planet. Queen Newt is what dropped the chicken. Now, I don't normally explain it that way because I think a lot of people get they get taken aback because I'm actually explaining Sirius history. And I mean Sirius, the planet Sirius, because according to the pyramids and according to the Akashic tablet, which I want to make a statement right now and say the Europeans smashed it because when they found it, it was intact. But they didn't want anybody to be able to interpret any of the hieroglyphs or any of the scrolls, so they figured they'd smash the dictionary, forgetting that actually the Akashic tablet is right here in all of us. So here we go. Look on the rolls of history and you can see who were human beings and humans. Human beings, I'm going to say one that's real controversial.
Go ahead.
Kevin Smith, the pastor in Jamaica. One even closer, I want to name two even closer that people can quickly agree with. Human being, Mitch McConnell. We all know he don't like human beings. He doesn't like anything with a hue. He won't even wear a shirt that has any color in it. Then here's one that people are going to probably have a problem with, but I don't care because facts are what they are. And the facts are determined by your ancestry. Barack Obama. Now I'm gonna wrap this up because I think we get into a touchy part right now. And humans, let me name a couple humans, a few humans.
Okay.
In fact, I want to name another human being. Another human being, they transfer. They actually take humans and they make them into human beings. The Kardashians do it. They translated the knowledge into Travis Scott and made him do a huge blood sacrifice last week. That's why Lady D is talking about it because we can all see that all these bodies piled up for a reason. That just didn't happen. there are limits to places that you can actually go to create this type of mayhem. And people paid a lot of money for these tickets. They paid to be a sacrifice. That's part of it. So they let those souls go. Now they can reclaim them and continue to do more things, and they can steal more humans. So a human would be someone like Dick Gregory.
Alrighty. Question. I thought that with the hue and the hue, it's color.
It is.
There was a difference between the hue, HUE kind, mankind versus mankind. Now,
Versus human beings.
now the concept, what I was reading, and a lot of what I was, enlightened to, is
Mhm.
that it's something that was started by the 5%ers, and you
They
have
picked it up.
several Muslim groups that came with um, being HUE, meaning that the color, because we're black, we are the real mankind, and that the human um,
The
was
HUMAN.
white individuals who were living in caves, and um, they were afraid of the sun. And as the world evolved, they be, they came out of these caves and were able to get minimum of
The Caucasus.
menelate.
Well, they kidnapped African women who were apparently too curious when they were trying to find out who these beings were up there in them hills, because
So
it didn't have nothing to do with Africans.
my questions, and Zephyr couldn't be here because I had a question for you and a question for Zephyr, and hopefully we could shed, maybe Miss Moody can chime in, since she brought up this subhuman and human thing. Um, is My question is, when we are distinguishing and saying white um people are not human, um when you're not, it's like you're saying cat can't mix with, we know that cat can't mix with dog, or human, or
Except in a petri dish.
human beings can't mix with cats and dogs, but white people and black people, they mix. So aren't we of the same genetics? Aren't we?
No, and that's the point about aliens versus humans. HUEMANS are beings of a higher ascendance. We're not from the same nonsense. We didn't come out of caves.
We Oh,
We
so
didn't we didn't evolve from dogs.
it was switched around that um black people are who came out of caves,
Do
when
you,
it
I want. I mean, if you want to talk about the 7% nation, I like what the 5%ers say, because at one point I believed it, but I believe on a different level now some of what they say, and it has to do with what this
listen to something.
encompassing knowledge of accepting that aliens, the concept of aliens means that space travelers, people that came from a galaxy outside of the one we live in. This galaxy expanded because others came into it each time.
But when
So
you
one, that's why they say, well, here's the joke. Can I throw the joke in and then we'll get back to the serious?
go ahead, because
That's why Jeff Bezos made his spaceship look like a big blue phallus, because he's trying to have sex with mother and hope that she will turn him into a human
okay,
instead of a being. So you have man and mankind. That's easier to do, because you do have people that are in lighter skin, like me, because of the genetics of what has happened when they were kidnapped, and it just translates through generations.
Okay.
Because everybody else in my family is Lady D's color, including my mother.
Okay. So you are a human.
So I am human, Hueman. We are human. Human beings are things that came down out of them caves in the Caucasus Mountains
Yeah.
and mixed
Yeah.
with humans.
But then so at this point you don't know if human, not with the HUE, is can define them necessarily by any color. Because if you're using persons
Right.
the
It's
past
the soul. That's what Zephyr was talking about. It's the soul, because we can see that a good definition of that exactly is Kevin Smith, that preacher in Jamaica who told people he was sacrificing to the Creator, and
what makes these mankind so violent? Why do we automatically, I'm asking all the questions.
because it's the missing link. They don't know how to continue procreation, so they just want to stop create. They want to stop it because they can't make it go further. There's no evolution. So if there's no evolutionary step, you can't go further. An example of that is when we keep talking about these babies being born with the 37th vertebrae, where they got a tail.
Mm.
I
Okay.
got 34, 35.
Okay.
I got 35. Why you got 37?
Okay. I pulled up this. It says a human has a hue, HUE for melanin. Without it, you'll be a kind of man, mankind.
Right, right.
This was an article that was done
That's
by
5% logic. That's Charles X. Charles 7X.
Guru.com. Okay. And Jason wrote, oops, oops, oops. It just shut down on me. You see? I guess it's the human.
Well, I mean, that is the fact because they teach you that, and they teach you that with the divine math.
Guys, this is the best. I'm loving this. And okay, it says what this means. Why is this not coming up? Okay, here it is. What is the truth? It says here, human and kind of man. It says here what this means. See, you have a HUE man, which if you break the words into two syllables, you come up with hue man, which means man of color. And then you have mankind, which means a kind of man, right? So
Exactly.
early stages of creation, which can be referred in the Bible in Genesis chapter 1, in verse 26, the God says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth up on the earth. 27 says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created the male and female, created him them.
Hmm.
So now you
Don't
can
leave out Cain and Abel.
now you can take this to be several things. It was shared that this was the guardian of divine science. Before we go into Donna Moody says the baby born with the tail is from the union, the interbred of human with other beings. Okay. So,
Exactly, because they were dogs. Like they didn't even stand up. They didn't even walk. They were on all fours.
okay.
That's the genetics. That's the proof.
The gods instructed, wait a minute. Okay, now you can take this to several things. It was shared that this was the Garden of Divine Science. God's 25, in total, 13 being major and 12 being minor. Where traveling throughout the universe, creating and upon arriving to Earth, decided to experiment with a deeper form of science and procreated themselves. The science were in disagreement as to what to do as the scientists fell in love with their creation, and the 12 minor sciences joined with their
Right.
creation. praise
Human
as
beings.
gods. Well, the gods instructed the lesser gods and taught them certain scientists. And one day the lesser god were experimenting with an atom, and it split in half. Having knowledge of the science of creation, they took notice of the DNA makeup of the atom and noticed the tree of life, which
Yes.
was really the shape of the double helix.
Yes.
And the 12 minor scientists found out what was going on and tried to stop the process, but it was too late. The lesser God had created a lesser God themselves,
The
and
Big Bang.
the word human arrived from.
Hmm.
That's the HUMAN. It also
Hmm.
says the 12 minor rejoined the 13 major and were thinking of a way to reverse the process. And in thinking, the 12 minor thoughts of destroying the planets and starting over, but it wasn't an option, as to destroy the planet was send the negative charge through the universe and destroying all they created and even themselves. Well, the answer came as to find a house to host the negative that was attached with the gods created the lesser gods. And it was in the form of mankind, the total opposite of the human in genetic makeup and in nature. And it's still saying
Right.
human. This mankind was created to show the human or lesser God his true self and was told to avoid this mankind by all means. This
Right.
mankind was pale skinned and had hair like a beast and was positioned in the mountains of what is now called Europe.
Yep. Caucasus.
Was to house all the negative and then eventually be destroyed by the original gods. The lesser gods were instructed to monitor their progression and record their progress and pass the record off to the gods. After
Hmm.
years, which may just be second to the gods, the compassion of the lesser gods to instruct the lesser god human to try to civilize the mankind and bring him amongst them to await the final stage. Upon his transition with lesser gods, the mankind started confusion and chaos amongst the humans, HUMAN, and be
Hmm.
still is just look and be still and just look around you. Now,
That's it. Cain and Abel. First, you got Adam. You got the atom. The proton and neutron split, and that created the atom. Then, the atom was there. They couldn't get along. They knew they were going to have an additional Big Bang. So, the one that was most adversarial killed the other one. Cain and Abel.
okay. So,
So which one was Cain? That's the real question. Which one was Cain? Was Cain the man with principles that was made by God? Did
okay.
did did, did the devil kill the human? You see, this is the question. We've been toying with this for eons. Okay,
Mhm.
inside here is the answer. That's why we keep talking about this because the other day, I think I told you, Sprague Ben said when people talk to his son about stuff he does, what does it lead back to? Sprague Benz. He said, why? Because that fruit fell from this tree.
Mhm.
That, as a father or a creator, as I like to say, because she said the creator, they created. Aha! Now we getting the language working up in here.
Go
So
ahead.
creator,
I'm letting you all talk. Go ahead.
once the creator,
'Cause
you
you know
know,
I go there.
went ahead and made in his image,
Mhm.
and some of it thought it was too smart, it could expand. It became questioning of its image. Well, is there something bigger than my image? Is my image not the greatest image? Am I not God? Could there be something else? Can I be a God? Could I be a God? Can I create something? My mother told me two things. One, if you get a puppy, Treat it like a puppy and keep it on the floor. Because the first moment you put it up in your lap, it's going to try to lick your mouth.
Mhm.
Second thing she told me was if you lay down with a dog, you'll get up with fleas.
Mhm.
There are no dogs in my house. Cats either.
None of mine either. Yeah, but back to although we never left from it because you had me here eating ice.
I
Okay.
mean, it's a hot subject. We want to skip around it because we keep talking about is the devil real or not. Quite obviously, the devil is real. The devil is amongst us right now.
Is the devil real?
Let me ask you from a scientific point of view. Let's just look at a comic book that came to life this week, and I'm going to be very disrespectful. So, for those of you who are not used to my form of disrespect, just get ready because it ain't no cussing involved.
Mhm.
Persons showed up at a particular church
Mhm.
and said to the pastor,
Uh-huh.
we are coming inside. And the pastor said to them, no, only she can come inside.
Who is she?
The second person said to the pastor,
Who is
I
she?
am her covering. Now, we've been discussing this covering thing all day, but I finally got some knowledge that was thrown back at me about it from a Pentecostal sister who I greatly respect her knowledge. And she said to me that women are covered under the yoke of marriage, that women are not considered women in some cases until they married and got a husband. They don't have a voice.
Mhm.
Now, I kind of had a little feelings. So you mean to say if I wasn't married that I would be like a non-existent person? I would need a man to validate my existence. So is this because you are the devil and you can't reproduce me or you, but I can? I can make you because I'm the factory, but you, God?
For me, I don't I don't get it. I don't get the whole human and human thing because
You understand it, but you just don't see how it's working to destroy society today because right now an example of it destroying society right here amongst us is the very fact that we talking about mankind telling people that something we can't see doesn't exist because we can't see it, but I'm sitting up here with it. Been tested and it's been proven by some other humans
say that
that I
again.
got it.
Say what you just said again.
Humans, mankind,
Mhm.
are trying to deny the existence of something because they just want to pretend like it doesn't exist, like they got a higher form of knowledge or logic. Yet, I'm sitting here with it, and it was proven that I have it because people came here and got it, took it someplace, and proved that I got it.
Donna says,
Cancer existed long, long time ago. It ain't from
"See,
it's not from extinct species. It's just part of an overgrowth of cells, and it's always been on the planet. It's just hadn't been defined yet.
I, 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 I have a, I'm on the fence with this. okay, with the belief of it, and I don't, and I've never
They
really.
performed cancer therapy in Kemet years ago. They gave people all kinds of treatment, and they had surgeries, and they also gave people things that cured it. They have proven that
Oh yeah, we know that there are definitely things that cures cancer, and that's why I know that there are.
it works on humans, HUEMANS, but it may not work on humankind,
Okay,
human beings.
so what would that have me to say that someone that dies from cancer and the treatments that they were giving them and it did not work for them and they passed away, that makes them mankind, and because that medicine that they gave to me worked on me, that makes me Hugh, HUE. I don't get that concept because
I want to throw something in with that.
go ahead, throw something in.
I have had cancer and recovered. I have
Okay.
had parts of my body removed, and I'm still sitting here today. They say that you have an impaired immune system once you have had a systemic cancer, but every single one of us carries a gene for different types of cancer in our body. It's just when it's activated
So can I
by certain external forces.
can I go to the government and say to them, I am HUE kind, mankind, and I've had COVID and I beat COVID. And I don't need to, the ones who are dying is the one who are mankind because your medicines and your stuff is not working. And I'm able to heal myself from this without any help. So this whole
It's because your system is different.
this whole thing to me doesn't really make much sense.
Okay, look at me. Take a look at me right now. This
Because
is what we're talking about.
well, you went and you took a shot. You went and you took a shot. So if you are human, HUE, you will rely on your God given resistance within you that will not let you get the big C.
No, I took the shot after having it twice.
Donna says, do you know that ice is used to preserve extinct fossils?
Everything is trapped in ice. They keep it in ice cores. They put it in Iceland. They got a great big vault. Everything is in there.
Okay. Well, that's maybe why I'm
And the diseases are too. They freeze the diseases so that later when they need to get a trace of it to test it, they got it. That's how they know what is what.
well, maybe that's why I'm immune and I'm human.
I think
And I'm
one
these fossils contain diseases such as cancer and COVID from extinct species.
exactly. They do. They do. I
Okay.
think that one of the real reasons why you and I have both experienced COVID and that we've had different reactions is because I decided when I wanted to try to be the experiment, I wanted to see how far I could push it. I'm one of those people. That's not recommended. It's not recommended. I'm sitting here right now with it again, even after following all the protocols, because I stopped taking all my vitamins. If I hadn't, I think if I had, it might, some of it might come from fossil fuels too. But I think that if I had continued to um, take all my vitamins and do everything and I know I should have been doing at the way that I should have been doing it, I wouldn't have gotten sick. But the issue was that, we still have to interact in society and it's a choice. You become part of the experiment. And I told people that from the beginning. That's why I did this
But people's been sick forever. People's sickness has been on the earth forever.
forever.
So Um, so the people that dies from
Oh,
their sickness,
wait. Before you go from that,
human.
forever. Exactly. We've had flus, we've had different variations of things, but the climate and different body conditions change the way that um, things have developed in the present sense because, we're talking about air, we're talking about the air around us being filled with microbes that were always there, but our bodies have become more sensitive to them and more sensitized. That's just like she says, electrical magnetism,
Correct.
because it's generated from these extinct animals, plants, etc. And some of it from the climate change, I do agree, is getting thawed because we're starting to see it everywhere. And that could very well be where this came from because there have been discussions
Yeah.
about
What
this
I'm
being an ancient virus, and I'm not convinced otherwise at this point. Are
okay,
you?
but it being an ancient virus, right? Okay. We were on what makes man human, HUE, versus human. And it was I think stated, correct me if I was wrong with what you said. That's why some people is able to fight certain things and some people is not able to fight certain things. So if someone could not fight certain diseases that are out there, that is what categorized them to be human versus human.
I don't know if that's
Get the
it.
concept of
I
what.
don't know if that's it. I know that
Okay.
that I know that melanin definitely plays a part in how strong your immune system is. They've
Hmm.
proven that over and over.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think that the amount of melanin some people have um, varies, and it does create a different type of a healing resource because I've heard that people that come from agrarian DNA actually have a stronger immune system. I know I know that that's how my
Because
family was
and
raised.
what I don't really what I don't really grasp is the separation of white versus black.
It ain't white versus black. It's DNA. Color is a different type of an invention. The DNA itself could be in either a person that's colored with extremely melanated skin or a person that has no almost no melanin.
How do you think? Do you
It's
distinguish?
how the body reacts and
Saying
how they react.
they're saying to look. Michelle Corney says, I watched a documentary that discussed eating a plant-based diet help your body fight disease.
And
That
that is why I believe that
is
the
there.
agrarian DNA is stronger in that sense because humans, HUEMANS, came from agrarian lifestyles, and we pretty much have a different DNA. When you evolve your DNA by mixing it with mankind, man mixing with mankind, it degrades the DNA. So you mixing your DNA that's all strong and stuff with something that's used to eating dead things that didn't even know how to cook the dead things, didn't know nothing about no spice.
So did the humans bring this form of life in? Um, us being predators of animals and killing them and eating them and did
Human beings.
that.
That's how they theorized that the human beings were able to kidnap a human because they were out hunting them. They were hunting animals, and this particular animal kidnapped because they had befriended it and it became like a pet. And they were like, oh, this is like a pet. So, just like that's it. That's the Neanderthal. And what she's talking about is exactly that.
Okay, Donna says it's a human evolution war, as I said before. For example, Neanderthal didn't have XY chromosomes until Homo sapiens interbred with their generations. So our generation emasculated them, and they are killing our generation as revenge.
100% correct. Donna Moody.
How do we distinguish?
Easy,
How?
real easy.
Go ahead. How?
Characteristics of personalities, intelligence. Um, One of the things that I found out is that if you are smart enough to evolve as a species, you know, this might be a little crazy, but vegetarians are an evolved species because when they go from one place to another one, they eat different vegetables that may not have been known to them. Yet meat eaters always eat the same thing, something dead, or they kill it and then they eat it. So you got to understand that if you're eating dead stuff, the stuff is rotten inside of you. Not only is it rotten inside of you, it's creating that type of a brain element to your logic and your reasoning. And if you are forever eating dead stuff, what are you going to be?
I want to say to everyone, I'm so sorry. I was not paying attention to any of the phone. I kept seeing this thing lighting up over here, and I'm like, what is it lighting up? And then, okay, we got a call come through. Um, but what I'm saying, so what would you call mixed individuals now? Donna
Me.
says
Me.
exactly, Mama Acid, and you what?
That's what you would call them.
What?
People like me.
Mixed individual.
Your DNA
Said,
changes with each evolutionary step.
Donna Moody said,
So
body's not
That's
made to digest dead things, which is
that's right.
true. And I have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello, good night, good night. I was trying to, my phone's been acting up on me. But I just wanted to interject this, and this is just hearsay, and it's hearsay because I've never really studied it or looked into it further.
You can hear Acid.
But when I was in my teens in New York City, I had the opportunity to hang around the 5%ers, Muslims. And what they believe in, they believe that um, white folks came from molecules, that it was some molecules and the molecules started coming together and it formed white folks. They also believe that they lived in caves, and that's why they attained the melanin complexion of that light, thin skin. Um, Once the evolution started and the world started to evolve, they felt that they started to come out the cave, and that's why they said that they walked with like onto like an ape. You know how they say that's how black folks was. They said that was the white folks coming out of the cave because they weren't used to the sun rays. Um, Once everything started to evolve and they started coming out more and more, then they started to attain the shape of the upright shape of man, and they started to gain that melanin within their skin tone. Now, um, they even go as far as to say that's why they have to be in the sun so much, so they go to the Caribbean or they lay down in the sun to attain that melanin, because if they don't go into the sun, then they end up losing the melanin, just as when they were in the caves.
Hmm.
There is so much theories around this, and that's how um, that man and melanin. When I was in used to teach pre-K, um, we had colors, and some of those colors did have hue. You had the color hue, and that was a dark brownish looking color that we used to use to paint, and I would use it when when I wanted to depict a dark individual, on a white canvas or a white paper. I would use that color. Um, like I said, there is so much that is not known to man, and we speculate a lot, because of the unknown. But some of it makes sense from what they used to say, because like I said, I know these folks, they go to the Caribbean. I go down in Jamaica and I see them there. And they just like, while I'm trying to hide from the sun, they're in the sun, you know, trying to absorb as much as they can. And I know they do a lot of tanning and you know, sitting out in the sun. But that's
Don't
what
forget they got tanning beds.
5%ers, that's their belief. And it do cause cancer, but they use, that's why they use all those blocker, you know, blocking, what have you, sun blocking, all of that, you know, to prevent the cancer. But that's what I was, you know, I've had extensive reasoning with these folks because they used to do the food program where you pay $10 and you get a box of food. So I used to go up there and hang with them, and these were the things that I used to hear them talk about, you know, and they do believe this, you know, and some of
So
it makes sense, you know, some of it don't, but that's what they believe. They believe that they were in the cave, they were like molecules. That's how scientifically, that's how they're thinking, that they were molecules, and they said the molecules evolved and came together and formed that species. And when that species was formed, they were in the caves. And what happened because of evolution and things started to evolve, they started migrating, coming out of the cave because they started to tolerate the sun. Before, they wouldn't be out because they could not tolerate the sun. And they started come out and start tolerating the sun. And the more they're out, it's the more they're tolerating the sun. So, like I said, you know, some of it makes sense, some of it didn't. But I just wanted to pass
so
that on
is
because I
this
hear
the
y'all still,
would we say that
huh?
this would we say that this would be the concept of black being with black, white being with white, um
Right.
and what would we
Because
say
they're used to,
for the integration that have taken place, and you have a lot of interracial children? What are we calling them? Are they now subhuman beings? Are because they have mixed
we wouldn't call them
with
subhuman
beings
beings.
that
They're
are not
human beings.
mankind?
They are human beings with trace of whatever is in that other DNA. You know what I mean? Because
So,
really and truly, if you really
and
look
Mama
into
Acid, I want you to
history,
answer that after.
those folks are real tender. They're real fragile. White folks are real fragile. And for some reason, black people can tolerate certain things more than a white person. And I think that's why they protect them so much. And also, they became dominant because you see, the black folks were sort of reclusive, you know, more in small groups and what have you. So that once they started merging, this is what I'm just telling you what they think, how the 5%ers think. Once they start emerging, they start to take over and they become dominant. And that dominancy came along with control, you know, because like I said, the black folks were they were in small groups, so it was easy for them to be dominated. So, you know, that's more or less what they have been saying, and a lot more, you know. But I just wanted to interject that because I hear y'all struggling with the color and the race and what have you. But like Sister Acid said, the hue is it's the pigmentation of your skin, and there's
Right.
some that are stronger than some, you know.
Right, but from what
Um,
from what I'm reading, the concept of HUE and humankind and humankind or mankind is based off of um color of your
color.
skin, and they're saying that human is basically, they're categorizing that as white people, that they're aliens, that they're not human. um and I was going to ask Donna, would you say that when you say that they're mixing and they're killing our generations as a revenge, are you saying that killing our generation as a revenge is where we are integrating. We are white persons are sleeping with black persons. So
Yep.
that's where my question also comes with what would you say about the interracial children? What are you calling them? What is to be done with them? Are they not human? HUEMAN. Um, Fatimat Reed says, also eat the rainbow colors of food: red, yellow, green, orange, purple, blue, and avoid the white foods like sugar, salt, starches. Donna Moody says, Lady D had asked me last week if I believe that the bodies at the Body Museum is the dead bodies from the World Trade Center. I believe that the people from the World Trade Center are being held in subhuman bondage by the subhumans whose remains were found in caves after they became extinct. In other words, those were their remains at the 9/11 sites and not actually the people in the World Trade Center on 9/11. It's the takeover. Homo erectus took over the world millions of years ago. Fatima comes back and says, take vitamins A, B, C, D, E, echinacea, zinc. I guess she's speaking of things to make ourselves feel a little bit more healthier. And I see that she's following us on YouTube, so maybe there's a delay, and or she just picking it back up and reading from where we had started back, coming in. But yeah, that was one of my questions to you, Donna, was when you're saying they're killing off our generations, are you saying all of these interracial relationships should not be taking place? And then, if so, where are we leaving um, all the interracial children that are here now? Are we putting them as not necessarily being human, HUE man, because they're now interested? So what are we calling them, and what are we looking for at this point now that this in this integration has started? Um, are we supposed to go back to black power and black on black with black, and not and um no intertwining with someone of a different color? Um, and then yes,
That's colorism. But colorism doesn't really have much to do about the DNA. We got to really look at the DNA makeup.
back to the DNA. So when you say go to the DNA, then Mama Acid, and then I'm going to get back to what you were saying, Donna Moody, in regards to the 9/11 and the bodies that is being displayed. Um, but how, I'm trying to understand, how are we going to categorize our children that have already have, so what we that already have the two kinds? I guess, are we supposed to say it like that, Acid?
But also now, what is the weight when we talk about this? We have to look at what colonialism and other types of systems have added to this whole pool. One of the reasons I say that is that these DNA tests that people are taking now are telling you what percentage of every ethnicity that they're actually surveying, but they're not really surveying the African DNA because they don't feel confident. And when you ask somebody like a geneticist like Dr. Ricky Kittles, shout out Ricky, they are clear that there's a defining DNA profile for people of color because color is determined to a great degree by where you grow up. So if you grow up in a cold climate, you're going to look like me. I grew up in Michigan.
Right, but what I'm still trying to figure out is, okay, you some people have more melanin. we know black
Some
people
families have more melanin than other families,
have the melanin. So because they have,
but it's generational.
so
That's what I'm telling you.
because they have
It's
minimum,
no, it's generational. My son is almost your color because his dad was your color. He didn't get any of my color.
okay, but
Neither did my granddaughter.
does that
And my
make,
granddaughter got my eyes. She has green eyes.
so
Can
is
you imagine being your color with green eyes?
so
She
is
looks like she's from Cape Verde.
so is he human or human?
She is human. Hueman.
You
And
know,
how do you know that?
but then one of the things I was saying too is where I can believe some of what the 5%ers are saying. If
Uh-huh.
you say, those cases are real cold and what have you, and the colder the climate is that you live in, the paler your skin becomes, and that's why in the wintertime we get lighter than we do in the summertime. So I can see the justification in them saying that these folks used to be in the caves, live in the caves, you know, and that determined the complexion that they have, the lightness of their skin. Now, a lot of things change because of
Well,
the
we had
the
10
the
o'clock.
world changing, the environment changing, everything changing in terms of the atmosphere and what have you, and folks evolving because they're learning different things in different ways, and that's how we even come to merge both races because many years ago, remember, a black man couldn't be with a white man. He would be shot under certain countries in Europe, you know. But in the new world, that was unheard of, you know. So they were always selective and isolating themselves, and it's something that was embedded in them, because that's how they were.
That's racism. That's the invention of racism. I can't mix with you directly in my family, but I can mix with you outside and keep you a secret. That's what miscegenation is. She
Donna
just described it.
says, I don't get into color because His Imperial Majesty said, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, which mean there is black and white. There is no black or white there, and is only one race, and that's the human race. It is 10:02, and we didn't even get
Mhm.
into the 9/11, and we didn't fully get into aliens.
Yes,
Uh,
we did. I think we really did. I think we've talked about how the aliens actually came to this planet and created other people.
do you think aliens are still coming from outer space here?
I think it's a trash dump here now. And aliens know better than to come here because they saw what happened to other species who came here and tried to evolve the species that's on this planet. I believe that every planet has its own species and that certain species are not as evolved as others.
Okay, Donna says that 9/11 was a nuclear apocalypse.
It was not a nuclear apocalypse
I
because if
don't
it had been nuclear, we would have known.
I don't think so. I think that it was something
Mm,
that was staged. I think that
yeah.
that 9/11 was something that was staged by the government to be able to use that as to a reason to go into another country to try to get their gold and their elements of their
Oil.
the elements of their
Hear, hear
land.
this, hear this. Can I interject something? I
Yeah,
try
and it's
not to talk about these folks or mention these folks, but that concert a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago, where all those people got killed
That
and
was this weekend.
have you.
yeah, that was this week.
Okay, I went to church. I went to this church Sunday, and that was one of the topics that the pastor talked about. And from what she said she had gotten a vision, and she spoke to someone involved in that that show, not knowing, she said that that individual was involved in the Illuminati. Now, like I said, I try not to get into that, with anyone, but she is saying that anywhere or anything they're involved in, they have to be dead.
Anything
That's
or
something to
anywhere
think about.
that who is involved in?
And
Artists?
the Illuminati, the group of people that consider themselves Illuminatis.
Okay, we
So
that's
she's saying the Kardashians had a huge sacrifice, and she could see that it was going to happen before the end. Every
right.
time Travis Scott does a concert, it's always a sacrifice. They got people in wheelchairs from a concert he did 2 years ago in Chicago, where a boy got pushed off of a balcony 3 tiers up, and Travis Scott didn't stop the concert then. Travis Scott was on stage telling people to stomp people because somebody tried to touch his shoe.
But,
All right,
uh,
it's 10:05. We have to go. But Donna, I'm gonna start out next week with the 9/11 and the bodies, and then we're gonna go into what was the other thing that we were going to discuss next week, Mama Acid? The
Uh,
pain
Pain and
and
grief and
grief.
healing.
Touch that, but we're gonna start out next week to close out the bodies. And once again, I Donna said she knows that it's staged, and then she put, yes, you're right, they're mixing dead with the living, and Illuminati is real. Um yeah, I think that
hey,
all of that, I think that all of that, I think that all of it is real. And I want to talk a little bit more next week in regards to the 9/11 and why you feel that um, the bodies are being held and what will be the purpose of those bodies being held. Why would, um,
'Cause we've been talking about the organ market for months,
right,
and we know that that's part of the organ market. Texas is a big part of the organ market.
yeah,
Texas and Nevada.
but the organs are not good when they're dead. Isn't the you have to be kept alive?
How many people died at this point? Nine. They got how many other people in the hospital? A
The 10.
bunch of people. But
I'm
what
talking.
she's talking about is how they switching it out. They take the aliens and use them in the count, and then they snatch the real bodies.
Woo, this
the
is going.
unknown,
This is
the
going way to the
unknown.
left, to the right.
No, this is what we've been talking about all the time. It's just we becoming more verbose about it now.
Yeah, it's getting there.
I'm not afraid. I know you not. I'm
And it,
sitting up here with the with the thing and just
I,
still
I
here with it.
I always have to ask the questions, and I always have to put myself out of the box and let everyone answer the questions that you all know. And we're going to talk a little bit more in regards to the 9/11 and switching out bodies and what was the purpose of it. And we're going to get to all of this mental health, grief, pain, and survivorship. Um, in next weekend, I think the week after, we're going to continue that. But we're going to continue with our Are There Aliens?
Clearly,
Did they really switch out the bodies? And human
the
different.
Scientologists been saying it for a long time.
And next week, we are going to have an anthropologist on, and I think I'm going to try. I have a brethren that's a Muslim. I'll see if I can get him to come on and talk a little bit on the belief of it all, since several
You need to
persons,
get the 5%er, D.
a 5%er, to come on and to
Yeah, because the regular Muslims are not that deep, but the 5%ers, they are deep.
because I want to know where they really got this concept.
The concept came from Charles 7X, and he originated the concept from Elijah Muhammad when he was a member of the Nation of Islam. Where did they get it from? They adopted it from another group of knowledge that came from Noble Drew Ali's teachings about Moorish science, because they started out with the Moors first. You didn't ask that. I know I've answered.
Okay, that was been answered. Well, okay, it came from them, but where they got it from? Where did they come up with this concept?
This is an evolved concept that comes from, they call it divine knowledge, divine logic. Divine logic and divine knowledge is ascended from comedics, and to a great degree, it's based upon mathematics. It's based upon the math that was used in the divine tabernacle. So we can definitely go there. You know, I love that.
We're gonna go there. All right. Donna says some are being held at Rikers Island. We're gonna talk about the holding and the necessity of holding them
They getting
and
ready to shut Rikers Island down, so I hope they got enough buses to move them.
to move them. Okay. I love you all. Mama asked, did you want to say anything before we go to the listening audience? But before
Wash your hands, wear two masks, and if you think you have what it is that I have, isolate yourself in your house. Do not go to the doctor if you don't have to. If you can go to a drive through testing center or someplace where you will not directly impact a bunch of other people, please be that thoughtful. And the other thing is this: social distancing works to a degree, but in an environment that has totally closed windows, just like a supermarket, that's how it never leaves the building. And they are not changing the air filtration systems in the buildings like supermarkets, and they should, because the people who work there breathe this all day long. So, my question is really a little different. Is this an experiment of a different type where they're testing what long term exposure will do to employees? And that's really what I'm waiting for to come out in the news next. So we can just wait 6 months or so and we'll see it.
we're gonna find out. Big ups to you,
Big
Medicare.
up Medicare doctor.
We sure was looking you chiming in today and on a little bit of this human and human thing. But we're gonna
I hope
continue.
she comes next week so she can take care of it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it again next weekend.
Oh, one other thing. Don't forget, Lady D. One other thing.
What's that?
Please, everybody, stop ignoring violence around you. Tell other people if it's happening. If you see it happening, do your best to avoid it, which means stay away from gas stations late at night. Don't go to places that are secluded if it doesn't feel comfortable. Trust your second sense, your third sense, because these are not accidents. These are planned. People are going to these places and watching. And this time of year, they are targeting people who are alone. So if you are one person and you're going in, maybe you might want to have your friend Roscoe with you.
Okay.
Well, I didn't take Roscoe, but
Say good night. Thank you for joining us. Queen, you have been such an integral part of our um talks, our reasoning here. You want to say anything before we go to the listening audience?
I'm just saying, I just want to say that the unknown, we still don't know the unknown. And there are so much things out there that is kept and not being revealed to the public for whatever reasons. But there are lots of conspiracy that is going on out there. So just be aware and be open minded that there are things that you just don't know.
There's a
And
lot of
when you hear it,
this is
you
a
should
big
believe
world. This is a huge world. There's lots of
it.
things we
Yeah.
don't know. We only know 5% of the sea, but we'll talk about
Ah,
that too down the road. All righty. Love you all. You all be safe. Just love upon
good
each
night.
other. And yeah, next week we're gonna continue with this with our humane and human mankind.
and
And we're also
aliens.
going to be touching grief and and aliens. We're going to be touching grief and mental health, pain, and survivorship. All right,
Anger and healing.
and healing, definitely. So we love you all, and you all have a fantabulous night. Be sure to listen to The Lady D show Saturday from 12 to 4. I'm looking for you all, not on YouTube. It's on our website at www.dapowerhouseradio.com or listen online at 667-930-9036 or through the TuneIn app. You can vibes with me, good music, good vibes. We do R&B, we do reggae, we do African. So check us out. And Donna, we thank you very much for being an integral part right here of this series on man and human and bringing it out because we have been dipping and dabbing here and there into it for the last 12 years, but we've never really stood on it. So, yeah, we're standing on this subject and we're going to continue it next week. So be sure to join us again next week. And we love your feedback and your comments. Love you all, Donna. Love you to the max. And Sybil and to Lorna King, for each and every one that listens to us. We thank you. We leave it out. We love you all. Ciao, ciao. Next week, same place, same time, same station.
We both got to make an effort, and I'm willing to meet you halfway. We both got to be sincere if our wish is to see a better day. Somebody please tell me why so much animosity.
Mama Asher Donna says make sure you keep up your remedies. Feel better. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Let's change the situation. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Cause we're heading for a confrontation. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo.